door unlocks with a mechanical thunk. Wind whistles faintly down the hallway. Rain is softer now, more of a breath than a storm. Klein shut the door behind him with the kind of force that didn't make sound. It just ended things. The lights were already on. He hadn't left them that way. That wasn't the first wrong thing. The air was too still, too curated, like the apartment had been cleaned, not for comfort, but for presentation. And something smelled like it had been left burning in a memory. He passed the hallway mirror, paused. His reflection moved in rhythm, but smiled a second too late. Just a flicker, just enough. He didn't look back, not yet. He walked into the living room, coat still on, the notebook already in hand, his father's journal. It had grown heavier with each spiral he saw. He dropped into the chair like the air had gravity only for him. Cigarette lighter snaps, slow exhale. The file sat beside the journal. The Fenwick girl, botanist. Vanished, laughs in the dark, spirals in the doorframe. He opened the journal to a page toward the back, a diagram, circles, lines drawn to converge on a central point marked with a symbol, two spirals overlapping like an eye turned inside out. On the edge of the paper, written sideways, spirals don't move, they wait for you to arrive. Cryptic. Thanks, Dad. No wonder nobody invited you to dinner parties. He turned the page. There, stuffed between two folds, an old case file. Older than the others. 2019. Child missing from St. Elar's district. Male 12. Witnesses described subject as smiling uncontrollably before disappearance. No signs of struggle. No trauma. Door left open. He remembered this one. A dead lead. Except now he saw what he hadn't then. At the bottom of the incident report, faint, pencil sketched. A spiral. Same proportions. Same tilt. Same dread. He sat back, cigarette between his teeth, trying not to think too hard, which of course meant thinking harder. Knock, but not at the door, at the window. Klein turned. He lived on the 3rd floor. There was no balcony. The knock came again. A pause. Then 3 fingers tapping, slow, even. Tap, tap. Nothing visible outside. Just fog. Just blurred streetlights bleeding yellow into gray. But across the alley, where a condemned stretch of brick and ivy should have stood dead, a shopfront glowed in static flicker. Neon tubes bent into shaky lettering, hand and figure, curios in porcelain. Klein stared. He'd lived here 6 years. That shop had never existed. Rain resumes, heavier. Distant thunder. He crossed the street under the cover of breath held too long. The storefront loomed like it hadn't just appeared, but had always been there, waiting for someone to notice. Inside, a bell that didn't ring. Just chimed. Once. Door creaks. The subtle sound of porcelain scraping porcelain. The air was powdered, like bone dust sifted into perfume. The walls were covered in masks. White, yellowed, feathered, bleeding. Some cried glass tears. Others had spirals instead of eyes. All smiled. Not artistically. Anatomically. Behind the counter, a man. Thin. Fingers wrapped in silk stained with lacquer. Apron soaked with something that once tried to be red. You're early. That seems to be a theme tonight. He stepped forward, glancing at the masks. One hummed softly when he passed, a frequency he felt in his spine, not his ears. That one's remembering you. Don't let it. Funny, that's what my therapist said before she quit. Behind the counter, in the half-dark, someone or something was assembling. Hands too thin, arms too fluid, pieces of porcelain were being shaped with flesh-colored clay. He saw a mold, a human hand. Klein didn't stay. Door slams open, Klein's breath visible in the street fog, hoofbeats, city sound bent. Outside, the city felt colder. Wronger. He stepped over something in the alley, a napkin soaked through, wrapped around a shape. A finger. Human. Still warm. 2 beggars sat under the broken awning. One stared up with a smile too wide. One eye gone. Spiral tattoo above the brow. Bagger! Smile, detective. The mask fits better when you're hollow. Yeah, I bet it does. He didn't run. He walked home. And behind him, the city shifted like a stage set between scenes. Apartment door closes. Triple lock engages. Rain muffled. Back inside. Lights off. He didn't bother. He sat at the desk. Opened the journal again. Spiral diagram. Ticket stub glued to a page. He hadn't put it there. Under it, a scribble. Patch is bleeding again. He stared at the name. He hadn't read that name in years. And suddenly, he wasn't sure if he'd dreamed her or forgotten her on purpose. The journal felt too warm. The pages were breathing, thunder louder now, a whisper under it almost saying his name, then silence. To be continued in Part 3, The Patch-Bound Clue.